All right, so people here in Washington certainly have opinions, but do they have the pulse of where things could be heading with Donald Trump? A group of D.C. lobbyists and congressional staffers were asked who they think Trump will choose as his running mate, and one name stood out above the rest. Stirewalt here to break it all down. Chris.
Was it me? Is it me?
It wasn't you. I don't think you would take it.
No, I probably wouldn't be a good fit. Okay, so Punchbowl News does this, and you don't need to know this, but Punchbowl News is this insidery publication in Washington, and I read it because I'm a weirdo, but I took with real interest, they do this canvas of K Street lobbyists and insiders, tastemakers here in Washington. Who do they think Trump will pick as his running mate? Why, it's Senator Tim Scott by a pretty wide margin over South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, Governor Sarah Huckabee of Arkansas, and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. And Democratic and they talked to both Democrats and Republicans. The only one, and I noted this with interest, the only one that that had a real delta between what the Democrats and the Republican insiders thought would be Elise Stefanik, who was way overstated among Democrats. Just a reflection of how little they may understand about how the Republican Party actually works. Okay, so why Tim Scott? He's a second-term senator from South Carolina. He has engaged in one of the most astonishing self-abnegations. His journey from Trump foe to Trump supporter was fast and furious. And he has really gotten on board helping Trump vanquish his intrastate rival, Nikki Haley, former governor, the woman who appointed him to the Senate. And you see that last point on the baseball card there, voted to certify the 2020 election. That's a big problem for Tim Scott when it comes to Donald Trump, because, of course, this is maybe the most single important issue when it comes to Trump, talking about how does he litmus test people for their obedience and for their sort of subservience. It is you have to go along with the 2020 election stealing business. Okay, so let's break these other four into two categories. You got the MAGA, and that's Noem and Huckabee Sanders. And they're both competing hard, it seems like, for the gig. Sanders has more inside game. She's got more Trump loyalty points. She's inside the building. Noem is more telegenic, more of as we've seen from her many ads for teeth whitening and everything else. She is a much more public-facing entity, and she's had real moxie out there in South Dakota, and she has worked this hard. Okay, how about the converts? They weren't MAGA to begin with, but they got there. Stefanik and Vance. Stefanik, I say, is a no. I don't think Trump is likely to trust her. J.D. Vance, though, has been through the fire. He definitely, out in Ohio, had proved it with Bernie Moreno pulling the Trump favorite across the finish line. I think it's unlikely they're going to pick a dude. I think it's unlikely they're going to pick a white dude. But if they were going to pick a white dude, maybe J.D. Vance would be on the list. So that's what the insiders think. They're probably wrong, but now you know.
Stirewalt breaks it down. So you say it's unlikely you think that Trump picks a man.
I think white dude would be the wrong energy. I think for Trump, Republicans are all jazzed now because they're getting back a lot of the numbers among non-white voters that they lost in the Obama and Trump or early Trump period. They're starting to sort of get back into double digits with black voters. They're feeling a lot of excitement about not being just such an overwhelmingly white party. So I think there's some enticement there.
Kamala Harris, the current vice president, obviously a woman. RFK Jr. picked a woman as his running mate. Does Donald Trump, I don't know if needs the right word. Well, let's go with that. Does he need to pick a woman as his running mate given the dynamics?
You know, I think potentially. I think a woman or a person of color. Because, look, you're seeing the Republican Party try to make inroads with these groups, whether it's suburban women or, you know, black men, for example. And there is some opportunity there. And you've seen the R-S-C, you know, over the past couple of years start to target those groups. So I think that could potentially help.
One thing I forgot to mention, Trump's choice will depend on how convinced he is that he needs to get the normies back. And if he feels like he has to get the non-weird Republicans back, the Haley voter, the Scott voter, the people who voted for Ron DeSantis and preferred him to Trump, if he feels like he needs to unite the party, Tim Scott, his stock goes way up.
Do you think Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.